Good afternoon on what is a bright, warm and sunny day. It is Sunday, 10th of April, and I have a nice hot cup of tea. And parcel to continue opening. Now, this is one I've been into several times, and I'm returning to because it is coming up upon that time when I do a group of fanzine reviews. So I'm going to unearth another fanzine from this thick bundle of fanzines, and you may recognise some of these from the pastel shades we have here. And if I check out the first one, that's the first one in the series, which is the Markagrak, or however you pronounce it, the Death Rolled Kingdom. Now, I've done an unboxing of that. So, and then there's another 5 below here which I have looked at, all the way down to the most recent one was Stray Barassa. That was done a while ago. But the next one is Hantu, and this is another entry in the series of a thousand island island fanzines, which are written and drawn by a team from Malaysia, providing in drawing from local and indigenous folklore, a very different perspective on fantasy that we don't often get in our, well, unfortunately, our Western gaming. And all of these are systems neutral, so that they can be easily applied to the role-playing game of your choice. Obviously, they work well with the old school Renaissance, but there are adventures in here and locations which I've looked at and gone, yeah, these would work great as Doctor Who episodes. Using Doctor Who adventures in time and space. But this one, Hantu, and is another trip into the weird and wonderful islands of the giant archipelago that Thousand Islands has been detailing. And as you can see, the artwork in here by Manshu, is it Manshu? I'll get that correct. Munkao, sorry, apologies, is exquisite. So, and this is a little bit different, I think. It's almost a strange series of articles and essays, and detailing almost a strange sort of criminal gang and the police response to it. And this is just on an initial point of view. Basically, I'm really looking at the images here and going, well, that's kind of weird. Well, we have, a video cassette cover, Thief and Night book cover there. What's a VHS cover? And almost pieces of fiction as much as potentially gameable content. So, we have quite a lot of degrees of mystery and strangeness here, not all of it in English, as you can see from that, but it's accompanied by this exquisite artwork that is just hints at something going on. You can never quite know what it is. So I think this is actually different in some ways to the typical Thousand Island title. In ways I'm not entirely sure of, and I've got to admit that, because essentially this is an unboxing. This is my first view, but again, the artwork, I keep coming back to the artwork because that's the only thing that you can easily grab onto in this one, as opposed to say that one where you have the Death Rolled Kingdom. You have a kingdom ruled by crocodiles, merchant kings, and that really is easy to grasp and really kind of play with. But I'm believing this essentially is more of a fiction fanzine than a gaming fanzine. So, I mean, there's nothing to stop you taking the gaming concept, the fiction content out and trying and turning that into a game. And it's probably a much more modern take upon the Thousand Island settings, if at all, than we've seen before. As much as anything, it's also, I think, particularly looking at, here we just switch into something which I do kind of recognise, which is elements of essentially Malaysian folklore, and we have a look at the Pengilalan, which is basically a vampire head, as first appeared for Dungeons and Dragons in the Fiend Folio back in 1981, and here I think this is an interesting perspective, looking at it 40 years on, and you know, basically having a more modern perspective of what that horror is. And I think it's doing the same thing again and again. So suspectly, possibly, you know, this is a look at Malaysian folklore and how it can be applied to your gaming, but not necessarily for your gaming, as it were. Again, a really lovely, interesting fanzine that looks a little less obvious in its use than perhaps the other titles are. And I think essentially what we have is the Malaysian Hantu generation. This is perhaps almost you know, a guide to Malaysian monsters and how to hunt for them. We have basically a set of you know, basically a set of tables at the end for creating Hantu to add to your game. And that is Hantu. Interesting little fanzine. I think different, as I say, different to the other titles in the series, like Stray for Asa or Upper Heleng, which are all quite different in their flavour and take upon Malaysian fantasy. But I will be doing a review of that, and you'll find a link down below to that below this video. In the meantime, I hope you have enjoyed this. Well, I have admittedly somewhat vague take upon this fanzine because it's not quite obvious as to what it is. If you have, please do click the like button down below. And in the meantime, if you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with a box or package and a game or book, which I will unbox and talk about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do hit that subscribe button. In the meantime, thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.